Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Did I just get a freshie combing the hair a little bit? I'm thinking about maybe growing it out a little bit, but are we live? We got a big day today. Big day today. Giants free agency, NFL free agency. So the plan for this is because the people who work in media this is a big day for them, right? So they've got to, be doing their own thing. Maybe some of those guys will come on, maybe not, probably not. Maybe Jordan does. And then I invited some of the other people, but those guys have regular jobs. So middle of the day, just kind of wanted to watch the first 2 hours of free agency. Usually the Giants don't get active until about an hour or so in at the beginning. So, there's some tweets I have bookmarked that we'll go through and just kind of talk through the first 2 hours. Now, that being said, if the Giants do something at 12:05, then we are going to go for about another 20 minutes or so and go, because then I gotta work on film breakdown and stuff. In fact, one thing I'm doing while on this is, I've already got a game of film done on Elijah Vera-Tucker. Is whenever there's a dead moment, I'm just going to watch another play of Elijah Vera-Tucker, and then maybe we could get through a second whole game of film. I will say, to lead off with that, it does seem like Elijah Vera-Tucker is going to be a Giant. That's been the name that I heard the most solid before any beat reporters really said anything about it. And then today it's becoming more of a thing. So there's that. But this is more, when Tyler Linderbaum signs with the Commanders, we'll talk with that through the first just couple hours, because I know we're all anxious. And I know TV coverage of these days has sucked. The trade deadline this last year was so terrible. And on the NFL Network, it was terrible. Like, that was nuts. And that was during the ESPN YouTube TV, negotiations where ESPN wasn't on YouTube TV. And Big Blue Goonie said, let me get a guest spot. I'll send you an invite link. I'm going to DM that to you right now. And NFL Network's coverage of it was terrible. So, I, as someone who works in this shit, am like, I want something to be paying attention to, watching, having in the background noise on these days. The fact that ESPN and NFL Network don't really do a good job of it is actually pretty terrible. So it's just like, I need some background noise on this. So I hope you guys are having a good time. There's a couple tweets, like I said, that I want to that I bookmarked that we will go through. Let me find Big Blue Goonie. Let me DM him this. So this is the issue of doing solo. So I just, if he wants to jump on, he's more than welcome. You got to have your camera on, though. That's the thing. So you got to have your camera on. Does AVT make Runyon expendable? All right, so that's one of the things that's bookmarked that I want to talk through. And Jermaine Illuminor and stuff. So let's go through some things here. Let me share my screen. Let's look at this first tweet. So first tweet that I want to talk through is from Ryan Dunleavy. Giants are considering using 4 tight ends per source. Right, so that's, not crazy. Using Daniel Bellinger as a hybrid tight end / fullback, using Chris Manhurst as extra offensive lineman, using Theo Johnson as Y tight end, and using Isaiah Likely as a flex tight end on perimeter. So that's another thing that is gaining a lot of momentum, and as part of the reason why Jordan wanted to go live last night. So it's like, hey, I actually think they're way more in on Isaiah Likely than people are making it seem to be. So let's talk about it. So that's starting to gain momentum. So, Jordan was first on that, I guess, where it was, no pun intended, unlikely that they were going to keep him. So Chris Manhurst has re-signed, right? We got the ticker on the bottom. Chris Manhurst is the first Giant to re-sign. I didn't think that would happen because the Giants are likely going to use a fullback, and they're going to want to have a second tight end who gives them like some receiving ability next to Theo Johnson. And so I just like, all right, well, he's not going to have any playing time here. But now that he's back, I'm excited about that. He's probably going to get less playing time, but that's fine for me, right? Like for him, I'm like, I don't know why you don't go and be some team that's looking to really get, grind it out with some of this stuff. Join the Raiders or whatever. Actually, the Raiders doesn't make sense because they have Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. but excited to have him back. Daniel Bellinger is the one that's a little confusing to me because I don't see what his role is unless they don't sign a fullback. If they don't sign a fullback, then yeah, but I want them to sign a fullback. Like if they keep Daniel Bellinger and don't get a fullback, then I'll be bothered. Now, maybe part of their plan of that could be, as we, this is what these live streams are, is talking through all of these possibilities. Part of the plan of that could be is they don't want to spend the money on Patrick Ricard. Alex Ingold just went to the Chargers. They want to draft Max Bredesen, but just in case some team gets, drafts at Max Bredesen in the 5th round before the Giants can use one of their 3 6th-round picks, well, then they can fall back on Daniel Bellinger. I just don't know why Bellinger would want to re-sign with the Giants because it's clear that, I think he's overrated by the Giants fan base, but also, he can play ball, and I just don't see those opportunities happening with the Giants, right? They are not going to put him above Theo Johnson on the depth chart. That's not going to happen. Then the number 2 tight end they want to either use as a more receiver. Chris Manhertz is a better inline blocker, and if they're using a fullback, it just seems like a place where it seems like the worst place for Daniel Bellinger, honestly. In the NFL. So there's that. So that's my thoughts on that. So let's go see what next I have bookmarked. Isaiah Likely. All right, let's get in on this. The Giants are expected to be among the serious suitors for tight end Isaiah Likely. Obviously, there's the John Harbaugh connection from Baltimore. It would be adding an offensive weapon to the mix, with them likely losing Wan'Dale Robinson free agency. The negotiation window opens at noon. I like Isaiah Likely, and so I'm one of these people I want my tight end to have good inline blocking ability, unless they're top 3 receiver at their position. And that a lot comes down to the draft talk. The issue is, we've seen proof of concept with Isaiah Likely on the Ravens that it works what he does, and he's not going to be your number 1 inline tight end, right? That is not the move, right? We're not drafting Isaiah Likely to replace Theo Johnson. We're drafting him to play next to Theo Johnson and then replace him on, some 3rd downs or whatever. Times where it's just very clear that the tight end is a receiver. So there's that. And by the way, make sure to like and subscribe. So there's that, but what is his contract going to come in at? I was looking at it today, and again, like Isaiah Likely, his stats are way underwhelming. If Isaiah Likely played for the Cardinals and was the same exact player playing next to Trey McBride, and not with Lamar at quarterback and not playing a contender, he played 14 games last year. He had 300 yards. His best year was the year before, where he had 477 yards and 6 touchdowns. So for a guy that what type of money is he going to get? There's clear, they sign Isaiah Likely. I know what his role is going to be. Don't have any delusions of he's going to be way more of that here. I do think he'll have a bigger role with the Giants because they don't have Mark Andrews. But I don't think he's going to be, he's going to turn into an 1,000-yard per season tight end. So I'm happy with that role, but I'm just wondering when he's out. Clem's Clem's got a media job. Need Ricky back out of his cage at noon. Clem, if you want to join, you are more than welcome. No pressure, but I'm gonna send you the link. Again, if you can't, I get it. But if you want to join for a couple minutes, feel free. And for people that join, I'm not going to kick you out. So if you want to go, just go. No hard feelings. Because I don't like talking solo, and I definitely don't want to do it for 2 hours. So there's that tweet, and as we're 5 minutes away from this thing actually kicking off, you know what I'm going to do? I said it. We're going to watch a play of Elijah Vera-Tucker, first play of the game versus the Seahawks. Also, the NFL is flagging everything. 2025 film. So if they do get him, it'd be nice if they didn't demonetize the film breakdown, because that'll be a big one. And it'll be one I'll be super excited about. It's all the Elijah Vera-Tucker red flags are not on the field related. He's a great player on the field. It's just the injury stuff. So first play is making this could go on the film breakdown. So backside of wide zone, reaches, reach to extend. Okay. All right. One play down of Elijah Vera-Tucker on film against the Seahawks. Already got all his film against the Vikings ready to go. Want to get some of this stuff in before the free agency actually starts. So let's go through some of the pre-free agency bookmarks. So let's see. Let me unbookmark these. Okay, yeah, let's do an Elijah Vera-Tucker one. The license plate guy. License plate guy got this out there. Shout out license plate guy. He's got people that talk to him, and he talks to people. If the Giants sign Elijah Vera-Tucker and Teller, which I think they will, Runyon is a goner. So let's talk through that scenario. So we know the Giants are going to spend some money on a guard, right? Or bring in a starting guard, whether that's Elijah Vera-Tucker or Wyatt Teller. But now this idea of the fact that they could get both and then move on from John Runyon. If they do that, I think they need to make a priority of signing Greg Van Roten or a Greg Van Roten-like player, someone who's played a lot in the NFL, is reliable, doesn't deal with injuries, because of Elijah Vera-Tucker's injury history. And I know Wyatt Teller had a down year. I know he ended up getting benched. I should have probably looked into that story a little bit more before the season. He's always been fairly healthy, miss a game here or there. 4-time pro, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro guard. But so I've talked about it. Like, don't be just happy with the offensive line. Upgrade. So I would be very happy with this. And then you cut Runyon, save the $9 million. Then I think you got to go out and get a Greg Van Roten type. So shout out license plate guy for getting the ball rolling on this idea. I talked about it a little bit last week. It was like maybe that's something they do with Runyon, but I didn't think it would be like, hey, we're actually looking to make big splashes in both of those. So, Graham Gano extension incoming. I don't understand what is going on there. Like, why is he not cut? There's no reason for him not to be cut. Actually, there could be. Jordan said maybe because of the injury that, you don't want to have to pay out some stuff from it, but we will see. So I'm going to be checking notifications quite a bit on this. So, we're 2 minutes away. Let's see. Any notifications? Let's see. License plate guy. Take your pick. Leo Chanel, Alex Anzalone, Tremaine Edmonds, Quincy Williams. I've heard Alex Anzalone's real. But we shall see on that. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to like and subscribe. What up?
What's going on, Robert?
Good, dude. Who do you want?
I watched a lot of the Ravens. I had Lamar in fantasy for a while, and I kind of did fall in love with Likely. And I remember how they had that contract that sounded like all worked out, and then he got hurt, and it seemed like the money went to Andrews. So I like the idea. 4 tight ends. Let's go 5 tight ends. Can we go what? Can we do a team of all tight ends at some point with Jackson Dart? Could that happen?
Yeah, I know. It's like the 4 tight end makes sense, but it's like, are they going to do a fullback as well too? Because now we technically have like 5 tight ends. When you look at the Madden depth chart. But yeah, I think the Likely thing is actually real, where everyone was kind of saying it wasn't, and then the last like 24 hours just kind of picked up steam. And like that's the other thing is, and I'm tweeting out that we have you on right now.
I retweet
it. Is as much as I am okay with letting Wan'Dale walk, I'm also offensive line's more important for me for Jackson Dart. I also don't think it's fun to go into a season with Malik Neighbors coming off a torn ACL and Darius Slayton coming off of a career worst year, and then like that's it as a receiver room. So like having a guy like Isaiah Likely who can be a 2A or a 2B for you, I think helps with Jackson Dart while still being able to build in the offensive line in the run game.
Yeah, and it's not surprising that you've been my podcast forever for a reason. I think a lot like you in terms of like team building and stuff. And I feel like the sins of the past, it's like put your quarterback in as much position to succeed as possible by having the offensive line. People don't realize this. You have your quarterback, which is a 1 in a million position in sports. Half the offense is the offensive line. Get that figured out, get it set, get it structurally sound. Tight end helps with that as well. And then the skill positions, you fill them out as you can. And as you guys have said, it's not really a great skill position free agency. And, we'll see what comes in the draft. The 5th pick, definitely makes it a little tricky. So build in the trenches. Obviously, defense has a whole makeover that needs to happen. But I'm pretty much lined up with you and Grump. And don't play around with Luminor. Get that done, because after him, I don't need to be convincing myself like a tier 3 right tackle in free agency is going to keep Jackson Dart healthy. So
hold on.
I'm lined up with you guys.
The first free agency of
John Harbaugh
has begun. All right, so now that free agency has started, Jermaine Illuminor was always going to wait to hear what his offers were once he wasn't extended last year. You got 10 minutes to get your offers in other teams, and the Giants need to just pay over that and bring him back. Like, that should be a priority. I tweeted it out, 20 minutes ago. Get it done. There's no excuses to not get it done. Don't assume that you can, you can have someone fill in at right tackle. Don't assume that Andrew Thomas is going to be fully healthy. Don't assume you can get somebody in the second round. Just re-sign Jermaine Illuminor. Like I messaged one of the Giants players and he's like, we're waiting on Jermaine. And I was like, they can't fuck this up. Like, I've dealt with, 32nd out of 32 right tackle play for 10 years. I can't, don't mess this up. Like, protect Jackson Dart. To take that for granted in year 2 of him, I think would be insane.
I'm with you. And I just think the timeline matches up too, because I think you guys have mentioned this, that 15 of Harbaugh's 18 years, they addressed the offensive line twice in the draft. So it's you're getting a guy who's good now, an older player a known quantity. And then you're going to probably not this year because of lack of picks, but maybe next year you're maybe drafting his replacement unless Bo can kind of step in there, as the future guy. But I don't want to put this, the old Giants would have put Marcus Bo at right tackle, been it's your job. And it would have probably blown up spectacularly. No disrespect to Bo, but just the way that the past has told us with all this stuff that they've done, right?
Yeah, it'd be the same exact, not the same because you didn't have a Jermaine Illuminor player, but the same Matt Parrott situation. You're we got Matt Parrott. He's so athletic. He had a couple good moments. And then it's you get through training camp, you're oh shit, maybe we're actually going to start Nate Solder, right tackle, who is, 60 pounds underweight, skip football for a year. And is literally wrote his own article saying he's just here for the paycheck. So as much I like Marcus Bo more than Matt Parrott, but so like you said, re-sign Jermaine Illuminor and start trying to replace him. If you want to try and replace him in this draft or next year's free agency, try and replace him, but keep him here until you find that replacement that you actually have real deal confidence in. For a reason, whether it's an investment in a first or second round pick, or you end up Marcus Bo proves himself. All right, first contract on the board of free agency. You ready for it?
Hit me.
Alec Pierce to the Colts, 4 years, $116 million. So that's $29 million per year.
They're going for it. They're still the Sauce Gardner trade. Mr. Dimes holding out for $50 million or whatever. Man, PTSD on the Danny Dimes negotiations.
It's crazy.
Right?
I was talking to my wife today. She's like, "You can believe that he asked for $50 million?" I was like, "Yeah, he did this. He did the exact same." His agent told him "Hey," because he said, "I want to shoot for $45 million per year with the Giants," and his agent's like, "That's not happening." And then he fired the agent.
Yeah.
And they end up getting $40 million.
But now you watch the film, and I just see the highlights and watch sports like a regular person. You're the junkie here, and that's why I love what you do. I think we have to start doing percentage of the salary cap instead of dollars, because everything 29 for Pierce is always going to seem crazy no matter what. But great at what he does with the deep ball, but that just seems like a big contract for a guy who kind of does what he does. No, I guess he's the best on the market, and that's just how it's going to be.
See, here's the thing: is I don't watch the film on the Colts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I know I loved Pierce in the draft. I wanted him for the Giants so badly. I was in full bloom love with Alec Pierce. And I wish the Giants would have drafted him instead of Wan'Dale Robinson, as they both are about to cash in on free agency. And that's for Wan'Dale, who turned out pretty damn good. Yeah, $29 million is a lot. Like you said, we have to care. But I said this with the Slayton contract. As much as we all hate the Slayton contract now, there's not a single player in the NFL who's not on a rookie contract that is making less money than Darius Slayton, but is better than him.
Yep,
Like,
100%.
like there's not, maybe you could find one where it's debatable, but there's nobody who's clear. It's like, oh, yep, that's a better player. At a cheaper contract. Like, it's just not out there.
That's why you gotta like scout. They say why it's so important to scout your own guys, and then it's like you kind of find those guys that are the hidden gems. You lock them up, and then they, that happened with kind of the 2000s Giants, right? They had some of those guys. They locked them on team friendly deals, at least friendlier. If they had hit free agency, like Justin Tuck, right? His first, when he re-upped the first time. If he had waited a year or so after the Super Bowl, he says it all the time. I wish I had signed my contract after the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. I'm updating the ticker. Olamide Zaccheaus goes back to the Falcons. So that's really big. Not really. But Colts, Colts get that done. So I think all eyes are on Wan'Dale, because that's probably been the most like, hey, that's going to get done contract of the NFL with the Titans. I'm just so it's not a intrigue of where he goes. It's just an intrigue of like, what does he actually get? Does it hit the 20 mil per year? Which
I do.
Last year when Khalil Shakir got 13 mil, we're like, okay, finally a slot contract you could compare him to. People are like, he's nowhere near the player Shakir is. And now a year later, he's getting, he could get almost twice the money that Khalil Shakir got.
I wonder how much of this, I guess, like, think of if last year doesn't happen, which is a crazy thing to say, but like Wan'Dale was a guy that I think was a product of just a terrible offense where, if he had hit free agency last year, he doesn't make nearly as much, but
not even close.
But then if year one, he looked great. So it's like, those are almost the guys you have to hit to get those, like you said, the real bargains in free agency. And he's going to it sounds like Tennessee has to be where he's going, right?
Yeah. I'd be shocked if it's not Tennessee. Yeah, I'd be shocked if it's not Tennessee. And this is the best. I mean, he can't pick a better year to be a free agent. Malik Neighbors gets hurt. You get Jackson. So you're forced to use him in a different way because you're the team that's in a state of emergency at your wide receiver position. Like, you're just forced to use him in a different way. Plus the normal slot stuff that he does. Like, he's going to go back to the same role that he had the year before with the Titans. Obviously, hopefully it's better and more space with better quarterback play and stuff, but I will say the Titans are kind of going to be like that. No one has a second team, but like, I'm kind of rooting for Dable and Wan'Dale and all those guys. In fact, I might actually go to that. The Titans play in MetLife. I might go to that game. So
I'm rooting for my fellow balds. I love that is it a fully bald staff? Did they hire one hair haver or did they keep it bald?
I don't know, but it reminds me very much of Joe Judge. Although Joe Judge had hair, his staff was well, yeah, it was basically every assistant coach except for Judge and the coordinators were bald. But as someone who like chronicles the Giants' terrible history and stuff, I want to be at every coach's homecoming. So I was at the Joe Judge return. So I'd like to be at Brian Dable's return to MetLife. So I wish I would have went to the Pat Shurmur Week 1 Broncos game, but I didn't make that. So going for it. I don't think John Harbaugh will hold another job, but you never know. Pete Carroll did. So
you're a big revenge game guy. This is a known fact. So
yes,
it's all them getting their revenge on us for the hell we've put them through and they put us through. This is just big. And listen, shout out to the chat right now too. And obviously you as well. You said like covering this team, man, like my job at Barstool, I get to cover kind of whatever I like. And my teams are Mets, Giants, Knicks. So it's kind of nice. When the Giants are terrible, I have other stuff that I can kind of get away to. It's just nice, and the fans are the same way. Obviously, it's all our team. It's just nice to like have hope for once, and like,
yes.
I feel like unless, everyone, if you have an average season in terms of injuries and luck and all that, you feel like seven wins is very attainable. 8 wins, 9 wins, in the hunt graphic. That's kind of what we're looking for at the beginning of December instead of the season being over before Halloween. And today is kind of like, again, like AVT. If they sign him and he stays healthy, I feel like that's the playoffs. If they sign him, he gets hurt, that's when we're kind of scuffling, right?
Yeah. I'm keeping it. My analysis is J-Mo Jones to the Patriots, $339 million. I don't think he was.
People are saying Linderbaum signed somewhere.
See, now the chat will mess with you. So
okay. Thank you. I needed to know that.
They will lie to you.
Thank
they
you.
they can be liars. They can be our best friend and they could be our worst enemy. During John Harbaugh watch, they were amazing, and then they really threw us off, and it was like, all right, we have a bad relationship now. So What was that? Oh, this offseason, I'm being so simple in what I do. I'm not twisting everything into a pretzel. You have your quarterback, right? You've declared you have your quarterback. Very good rookie year, Jackson Dart. You have your pick of the litter at head coach. That combination should make you a playoff team. There's half of the NFL makes the playoffs. All you need is 9 wins, maybe. Make the playoffs. Like, it's as simple as that, right? And if it's not, then guess what? It's we're not blaming the GM, we are blaming the GM. We're not blaming the head coach. The quarterback may be to blame, but we're going to at least give him some grace. GM gone. Like, it's as simple as that. With that, and they bring him back. So people are lying. Like Deontay Banks to the Jets. There's no way that happens in the first 11 minutes of free agency. You got to get better at lying. Those
I like
contracts don't happen.
Couple of bad apples. That's what they're saying. So there's a couple of bad apples. I love that phrase for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
and you know what? I like that. Keep me on my toes, because I was kind of like, oh, I can get my news through the chat here. Not so fast, my friend.
Not so fast.
Wes Steinberg had the Linderbaum news. This is Wes's. Things are good in Giants land when Wes is making up stuff about the Jets now, because he knows he can't really. The Giants aren't the absurd team right now. They're actually like getting their stuff together. But the Jets, it's like after the Aaron Glenn, did he fall asleep or not? They are in the. You can just start pounding the Jets with fake news.
I love watching the Jets fans being like, he wasn't sleeping. He was like, dude, his eyes were closed. Like it's clear. Or maybe he was looking down, but they're like, it's clear. I was like, I don't know, man. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, and those eyes look like they are just, totally closed out. So, let's see. Any other? Eric Stokes, corner to the Raiders. Oh, he got re-signed by the Raiders. We don't do re-signings for that. Where do you land on Cordell Flott? Because I think that is the guy who is like, I think we're all probably the most wishy-washy on him. We're all Wandale gone, Illuminor we want back. Flott is kind of the back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, think about Wandale too. With the money's one thing. It's also, and Flott kind of falls into us in a different regard. I don't think the money will be as much, but I want Harbaugh to build this team in his vision. And if it's big corners, just like he wants blocking receivers and bigger guys there, then that's what I think they should go for. So if they don't think Flott is an answer with the money, then I'm fine if he's going to move on. Now we'll see here. Like you said, Connor Hughes says it sounds like things are moving. But I saw that and I was excited. But it's to a limit. I think it's a coin flip where it's like Illuminor all the way in. Wandale, it's like, let him go. Best of luck in Tennessee. And I do think Flott is kind of – I don't think anyone will be upset if he comes back, but I don't think everyone's going to be devastated if he leaves, granted, if we can get a decent replacement.
Yeah, it's just a question of, like, do you fit what they're trying to do? Like, they're not stupid of who you are. There is outliers, good and bad, on Flott. If he fits your defense, re-sign him. If he doesn't, then don't. And I think we're all happy with that. But I don't think the contract's going to be as crazy as people are saying now. These, Eric Stokes, I don't know how good he still is. He got 3 for 30, so maybe. But I don't think it's going to be crazy if he comes in at $12 million. Where I think some people thought he might get more than that.
We're also starved for cornerbacks that are just like good and reliable. And, obviously Flott had that 1 year at the end that really blew him up, like Wandale, right? But it's like, maybe that's a player that just needs a coach with a brain and a franchise that's actually being run right. And hopefully we have that. That's kind of the standard, the floor is what we're expecting with Harbaugh, is just competent coaching. That's all we're asking for. And, we'll see, but that's the least we need. So Flott, I'd be I guess fine with. That's a money thing, though, I think, with Flott more than anything. Illuminor, it's like it has to be an absurd number for us to lose him, for me to come to grips with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it would have to be absurd to not re-sign Jermaine Illuminor. Like, oh my gosh, 30 mil. He's the highest paid tackle. He's the highest paid tackle in the NFL. That's what it'd have to be. It's like I'm so willing to overpay with him. Where other players are like, all right, let's figure out, what the max is, and we're not going to overpay. I'm just not playing around with that. Like, the only way I wouldn't re-sign him is if I just knew that I was drafting a tackle at pick number 5. That's the only way. I could really want to tackle in the second round. I'm still re-signing Jermaine Illuminor.
Can I ask you a question, Bobby? Because I've listened to all the pods. I was just finishing up your thing with Jordan last night. Where would you stand in terms of guard if you had to choose one between, say, Teller, Tucker, or, any other, like, I'm not an interior lineman, like, specialist, but as a Mets fan, the oft-injured guy always gets hurt for the Mets. But this is not the Mets we're dealing with here. And I feel like Harbaugh, and hopefully his strength conditioning, whatever it may be, is like, if we keep this guy upright, he's a monster,
Yeah, so that's where it's like Elijah Vera-Tucker, as much as he is the hurt guy, I'm hoping they could get him for like, oh, that's a pretty cheap deal because he's hurt, or super incentive laden because he's so good. Like Elijah Vera-Tucker is a great player in the NFL, but he's just unbelievably injured. Missed all last year with the torn labrum, missed another season with a torn labrum, torn his Achilles another season. So he's so good that I take him. I don't know what happened with Wyatt Teller last year exactly. He's 31 years old, and sometimes these guys just kind of fall off a cliff. But also sometimes guards have bad seasons and then come back and they're still really good. So I would be in on that too. So I, we live with John Runyon and Greg Van Roten. Like I'm fine upgrading from those guys. And maybe you could keep Greg Van Roten. That'd be my dream, is to keep Greg Van Roten on top of that.
And again, I can't just keep saying, oh, this is what happened in Baltimore, because there was a whole other group of decision makers that made those decisions there. But I do think like an AVT would have been someone that they would have looked at over the years, right? I remember when I think Zeitler went there after he was here. Is that right?
He went to the Ravens. Yeah.
He went to the Ravens. Yeah. So it's like, talented player. He was a little older, had some injury issues. I think a guy like that coming here. And like you said, having a guy that could go from guard and if need be left tackle. I mean, we just ruin guys by putting guys who can't play left tackle who we drafted at guard, right?
Yeah. So I'd be in on that. All right, we now welcome on the star of Combine Wake, Big Blue Goonie. What's going on?
Yo,
dude?
What's up, Bobby? I'm still trying to figure this out. How we doing?
Good. No moves yet for the Giants. We're at 17 minutes in.
Has anything been announced besides Zacchaeus?
Alec Pierce got $29 million from the Colts.
Oh, all right.
Per year, and then Draymond Jones got $339 from the Patriots, and then Eric Stokes with the Raiders $3 for $30.
Draymond Jones was a guy I thought we might look at because of the Harbaugh connection, and we need some beef in the middle. But he went back to, where'd he go?
The Patriots, $3 for $39.
$3 for $39. That feels like a lot.
So, what do you want out of today? Like, what is your goal of day one of free agency? Not the entire free agency plan. What's your day one goal?
My big splash guys are tight end, like Cade Otton. I really like him. Likely I'm warming up to more. Like if we use him as like an X receiving option, I like that. Charlie Kohler. But I feel like everybody I talk to wants Charlie Kohler.
Yeah, because everyone thinks he's going to be 1 year, $1.5 million. And it's like, oh, yeah, we all liked him in the draft.
He's going to get $20 million a year at this rate.
Yeah, he's the perfect, like, everyone kind of liked him, or not everyone, but people liked him around the draft, and it's understandable that he hasn't gotten a chance. Like with Daniel Bellinger, I think people are like, oh, he hasn't gotten a chance. Like, I think he's gotten plenty of chances. He just is what he is. Charlie Kohler was actually behind Mark Andrews.
Yeah, he was actually buried on a depth chart.
Yeah, behind guys who are, like, actually really good. So, likely is – usually I don't like the Isaiah Likely type, but we've seen proof of concept that they're working with the Ravens. But also, like, you look at it, his best year is 470 yards. Like, how much money are you going to give him? He's not going to be your number one inline tight end. He'll be your, most receiving yards from your tight end. But so that's my question. But it seems like that's getting more real. At least we know what his role is with the Giants. It's just a question of how much money can he actually get. Like, it's not a question of how does it work. We know how it will, but how much money he'll get. We'll get some super chats in here.
Likely with the old regime is also would have been terrifying because he always had like the weird shit happen to him where he has the toe on the line, the fumble at the 1 yard line that goes out of bounds. Like that would have killed the old Giants, but I'm believing new coach, new era, new Giants. That's not going to happen here.
Wide receiver market is so dry. And hello, Elvis. Guy Fawkes. Wide receiver market is so dry. These free agents committed grand larceny. Any ideas on a player for player trade involving Tibbs? I think everyone would like to do the player for Tibbs if you're moving off him, but it's just player for player trades are so hard. Like what, am I just going to scour through every team and pick my favorite player? And then they're just not, I don't know what is available, and I don't want to give him away. Like if I'm not like people are saying, oh, people say he's only going to get a day 3 pick and return, then just keep him. I'd rather have him as a 1-year rental and maybe something happens than a 4th round pick. Come on, do something. How long does it take to get a $40 million deal done? I am hoping Jermaine Illuminor is the first deal done of the day, because that one would be just so easy to do.
Chad is dying for us to trade Thibodeau for Pittman. I've seen like 7 people
For Pittman?
For Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
Okay, then how old is Michael Pittman now?
I mean, he had the back issue, I know.
Let's see. Michael Pittman is
28.
28, so
28
he's
going 29.
You know,
How many more years left on his deal are we gonna have to pay him? Because that's between him and Slayton. That's like 40.
Yeah, I'm
million
looking
a
up
year.
his contract right now.
That's
Michael
a lot.
Pittman's contract. Oh, his contract's actually not bad. 3 years for $70 million. There's 1 year left on it.
Oh, shit.
I actually might do that.
Yeah, that actually sounds not bad.
Chat knows it. Chat knows it.
Chat figured it out for us. That's what the chat is for figuring out who we're trading a play. And the Colts could use a guy like Kayvon. You know, I know they like Latu, but like Edge has been a big critique of that regime. Like, oh, they can't figure out defensive end. They can't figure out defensive end. So maybe that works. It's kind of when did Pittman get that? I think he hit open free agency in 2024, and all he got was 3 years, $70 million.
I haven't watched him lately, though. I don't even know. Is he still a good player? Is he a good X?
I would assume so. He had 80 for 800 last year. Think about the quarterback turmoil after Jones went down. So
he fits the body type. I want to get to more like that's part of the reason why I'm kind of okay letting Wan'Dale go. I want to see some more size in the wide receiver room and be able to block guys a little bit, you know?
And I think size and like downfield contested catches can be a little overrated, but it is a perfect fit for Dart, who throws the deep ball at a high rate. I think he was like the second highest in the NFL after Mariota, who only started a handful of games, but also like isn't super precise with it. Like that's kind of, you know, what you was like, all right, we got the, you know, the big play guy who can draw pass interferences, make some of those catches. A big Laguna goes black.
Oh, so I'm trying to retweet.
Digital blackface here.
I would never.
So it fits. Like I'm more open to those guys. I'm not saying draft Cornell Tate at 5, but I am more open to that style with Jackson Dart.
I'm just retweeting. Hold on.
Everyone's saying Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs.
There you go.
I'm looking for. Oh, yep, I see it here. Schultz reported it.
Walker went to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, good for them. It's about time they took running back serious.
I'm excited for that for them.
They needed to. He's going to be, yeah. I mean, that's been the missing piece for them, I think, for a long time.
He was a guy that I didn't really know if he had the receiving shots, but he definitely showed it once they started getting him a little more involved too. So
he's just such a like, and I've been like a Kenneth Walker's like not as good as people make him out to be guy, but the reason is because he's so freaking explosive and creates these big plays out of nothing. And here we go. All right, so remove the old you, bring in the new one. So he's the reason why he's overrated is because of how good he is at creating plays out of nothing. The issue is there's times where it's just like you're dancing too much. But, you know, if you put him in a run game, which I don't think the Chiefs are going to do, but if you put him in like a Greg Roman scheme where it's like, hey, we're going to clearly define where you're supposed to go for a lot of this shit, and then you can do that, it's a good fit. But it's good for the Chiefs just because they need to create explosive some way with the run game, and just averaging 3.9 yards per carry was not it. We don't have the contract number on it yet.
So the Seahawks now, they're going into next season with Charbonnet hurt, right? He tore the ACL. It was an ACL tear, right?
I don't know. Was it? I can't remember.
I don't remember. And then I don't even know who else they have, and they lost Kubiak too, so they're gonna have a new coordinator there, obviously.
Who is their OC? They upgraded within, right?
Charbonnet did tear the ACL.
Kenny McIntosh, George Haloni. Yeah.
Brian Fleury's their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, they don't have any running backs.
He was the 49ers tight end coach and run game coordinator.
They like to invest in him, though. I mean, I'm sure they might draft one high. I mean, Walker and Charbonnet were both high twos.
Yeah.
Yep, I could see them going back to that for sure.
because they got a lot of extensions coming. I feel like a lot of people are like, why aren't they re-signing Kenneth Walker? And it's like, look at their depth chart for 2 fucking seconds, and you know what I mean. They got some serious extensions coming down the line.
When you hit the draft, it's good until those guys are up for extensions. Then you got to make decisions.
To make.
That's what we haven't had to worry about too much over here, right?
That's what happens on good teams. You're going to have to make some tough decisions, you know?
I'm excited to see what the money is for him and see if it's something that I would have been willing to do. I did see someone point it out. It's like, you know, if your team gets the players, like, wow, that's great. If he doesn't, you just say not for that money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
the other thing too is I feel like we got to wait. We got to wait for we get the money, but then it's the guaranteed. Like it's like it comes in 2 waves with that, right? First you get the news they sign, then the money, then the actual guaranteed and all that stuff.
I was actually getting kind of excited for Kenneth. Like I went from like the first initial like, ooh, running back, to got excited for it. And then when I heard the Giants weren't going to match it, I was like, I got a little disappointed. I was like, oh, I was kind of getting excited for Kenneth Walker before he was even on my team. Chargers are allegedly putting Quentin Johnson on the market. Do that, then draft Jeremy. So I haven't watched Jeremy yet, but I'm not trading for Quentin Johnson unless it's like a 7th round pick.
No.
I
like Bernard a lot though. I watched him. He's like a dirty work guy, like really good compliment to Leak. Like I said too, I want the size for the run game too. I want to be able to like Wan'Dale is not moving any corners and like blocking anybody in the run game, you know?
Yeah.
If you can get a guy that's nasty in the run game, it kind of flips the math.
Dalvin Tomlinson reunion. That is just a reunion that makes so much sense. I don't know what he did last year for the freaking Cardinals, but you know, I'm sure he's still got to be at somewhat how old is he? Dalvin Tomlinson age. And these guys, he's 30, he just turned 32. So these guys usually play. So get him a 2-year, $9.5 million deal. I'm game for it.
What do you guys think about Juwan Jennings? Just because you guys are talking receivers and blocking and all that, like, I felt like I watched a lot of him. I liked him. I don't know if Dobbs is blocking. I know that's another guy they've been linked to as receiver, but Jennings.
Yeah, I don't know about his health, but that's like exactly what I'm talking about, dude. Like a power slot like that. That's just a dog in the run game and can kind of flip the math. Yeah,
I don't know what he's gonna get. It's very clear. It's like he's 29. He'll give you maybe a couple of years. He's not going to be like some key to your, he's not going to be what you're running your offense through, but we'll see. All right, let me update this real quick. I really, what the hell is the Kenneth Walker money?
All right, so now who on the running back market do you guys like?
I really didn't see any, like, I didn't really look into it besides him. That's the thing is,
Gainwell. I really love Gainwell, dude. I thought last year he was insane last year, and nobody's really talking about it. But he was like Pittsburgh's best player.
It's not often a guy leaves the Eagles and looks better, but he definitely looked better outside of the Eagles, right? As a running back.
Yeah, and he was always pretty decent for them too.
The Giants put an offer in on Kenneth Walker per Jordan Renan.
Oh wow, they offered him. I know that. My understanding is the Giants put in offering. Okay, what was the offer? So what was the offer, Jordan Renan? You're more than welcome to jump on.
Get on his ass. That's your employee, right?
Yeah. He really hates when I say that. Employee. Because he's not, but
No, he is.
Anytime you send a guy a few bucks like that, now you have to do whatever I say. So Bucks are working. I've seen a lot of people comment Bucks are working to re-sign Kate on. I haven't seen that, but it makes sense for them to not let him go. I know you're big on him.
I love him, yeah.
Especially if Evans leaves, I feel like that's a lot of turnover there.
He's a guy that, like, if we don't get Illuminor, he's a guy you stick next to like an inexperienced right tackle, and you feel a lot better on passing downs and stuff. You're a really good pass blocker. But just like a true Y inline tight end. I like him.
Yeah, he's like, again, this free agency's hard. I'm not sitting here studying every fucking player in the NFL. And a lot of times I'm missing games because I'm covering the Giants game on Sunday. But like when I watched him, I was like, yeah, this is kind of like this is just like, hey, define a tight end of the early 2000s. And that's Kate Otten.
He had that like big drop in the playoffs though, so everybody kind of
I might be, I've always been I don't let one drop change my total view of a player.
Drops are pretty overrated for the most part.
Until you get a guy like Slayton who just every fucking year,
Oh,
and
fuck,
then
it's
has the
hard to
production
defend.
not match it, and then it's like, all right, you just had a bad year and you drop. It's. I've always said it's the quickest way to your own team's fan hatred is drops. Like Evan Ingram, and I hated him too. It's Evan Ingram's drops turned into turnovers. That was the nuts year. That 2020.
No, he would tip it up every time to the second.
Every time.
Every
I think
time.
he was responsible for like 7 turnovers. I think he had the lowest,
it was like a
the lowest
volleyball
passer
set.
rating in the NFL when targeted because he had so many turnovers. He had some fumbles in there too. It was unreal that a tight end created like 7 turnovers.
It would come off his hands like so soft and just float every single time, right to the safety or whoever was in the second level.
Yeah, and I remember they finished the season against the Cowboys, and Jones actually had like the longest streak with no interceptions after being like the turnover guy for the first season and a half of his career. And he went on this crazy streak of no turnovers after that disgusting Bucs game. And then, yeah, we're finishing the season of one just popping off your hands into a Cowboys safety.
Got bad news, boys. K-Dot and according to the rap sheet, off the market. Back
off
to
the
Bucs.
market.
Yeah,
Back to
and
the Bucs.
he tagged the agent, so you know it's the good stuff when they actually just he's a great player. Like I hate when they just start sucking the guy's dick in the tweets. It's like that's how you know
gotten
it's
so bad.
dirty. Oh,
I wonder if you saw this, Clem. Did you see who was the trade that was for like a 4th and a 7th? Oh no, it was Juice Scruggs, a 4th and a 7th for David Montgomery.
Monty, yeah.
mm-hmm.
And Mike Garafolo, or not, Ian Rappaport originally said it was a day 3 pick. And then so when it wasn't a day 3 pick, he quoted like basically pick round 5 value for a 4th, a 7th, and Juice.
Oh, that's what he said?
Yeah, he couldn't admit that he was wrong. It's like, yeah, day 3 value. Which is funny to just imply that Drew Scruggs is so bad that he drags a 4th round pick down into a 5th rounder. Which some offensive linemen, if you start them, could be that. All right, let me update the ticker. Since Walker isn't happening, I think Tyler Algier would be a great sleeper pickup. Simply had the misfortune of playing behind the best running back in the NFL. Here's the thing, though, is if you get Algier, now you're putting like 3 backs who are like good but not great. You know what I mean? Like, so if they want to upgrade the running back room, upgrade it. I don't know how much I love the idea of
he's also a little like stylistically redundant to me. Yep. Like if you're gonna build a backfield out in the aggregate, I want somebody with a little more juice. I like Algier, but with Scat and Tracy's a little behind his pads type of guy too. I want some more juice in the running back room.
I would like Algier and like just a bubble as a signing, but like you said, it's redundant. I almost think that makes Gainwell look that much better because he does offer. And I think with the Ravens, they always had like the speed guy, then they had the bruiser. The other thing about the Ravens, they just kept rolling Gus Edwards out every single year. So it's like, I don't know what to make out of Harbaugh these days.
I got numbers on Kenneth Walker. 3 for 43. So a little over 14 mil per year. That's fair.
Still value.
Yeah.
That's value to me, I think. I mean, I think he's making less than Darius Slayton is this year, you know?
Yeah. That's what we were DMing about that. And it's like sometimes the running back thing, it's like you got to take a step back and be like, all right, who are players that are making just as much as this guy? And would you rather have them on your team? And there's quite a bit, actually. Turk says 50 for Goonie from Turk. So I'll have to get you on payroll.
Get the fuck out of here. Oh my God. I'm really hard up for cash right now. I need that.
Yeah. So, we're officially GNS Media Corp now. So we got Intuit and QuickBooks and all that shit. So
sweet.
Send me your W-9 and
yeah, I need a job on the books.
Employee. You're his employee now.
Sweet. All right.
So thank you, Nicholas.
Is that NFL Turkmenistan?
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Yeah, it is. Man. He's in our Patreon.
He had $50. He's got $50 to burn like that.
I know. He does it he does it like once a month where he gives like 100. Which I'm always like super grateful for, but I'm like, you guys are nuts. ETN, just ETN. Here's another guy where I'm like, I don't know what I think of him. I haven't watched Travis Etienne enough. I know he's explosive and can make some plays. I know he had a fumble issue a few years ago, and then he kind of fell out of favor. Here's the thing: is that's a real I think sometimes running backs receiving value gets overrated. Etienne has a real deal receiving value, and he's put up production essentially every year but one. You know, I even remember like Urban Meyer did a lot of stupid things. One thing I didn't think was stupid was working Travis Etienne at wide receiver and OTAs, because running back OTA drills are pretty stupid. And getting some, I mean, let's see, he's had over 1,000 yards 3 times. You know, he had almost a 500 receiving yards in 23. You know, he had 300 this last year. 6 receiving touchdowns this last year. So
I could be wrong, but I thought he had some like pass pro issues and like some like bonehead type shit. But
yeah, probably. I think he had fumble issues in 2022. I think we might have forced a fumble on him. Yeah, we did down at the goal line. Maybe that's just that one play. No, he had 5 fumbles in 2022, but he's only had 2 the last 2 seasons. So that's good. But all right, let's look at AVT is a Giant. That'd be nice.
I feel like more things should have got announced by now, but I don't have Twitter in front of me.
Did you get 28.87 for the guaranteed, which I guess makes sense, right? For the Walker?
28.7 guaranteed. Yeah, so it's a 2-year,
3-year, 14
mil per year deal. So that's fair. I understand the Giants aren't doing that, but I didn't. I like that the game is we're kind of going away from some of these stupid talking points that were just treated as absolutes. Also, there was a run of like not that many good running backs in the draft too. That helped that talking point.
Things changed too. Like a couple of years ago, when explosive passing was like more prevalent, I would say, yeah, you can just get a running back. But I mean, the past few years, I don't know what people are watching, but like that's how you get explosive now, is try to, in the screen game and the run game, getting a talent that can break that extra tackle that most guys can't. And I think Scatabo is a little bit of that, but he's also like a 4th rounder who just shredded his leg in 8 games, you know? So like, we need more.
That was the biggest bummer. The timing of that was I thought they started getting him used in the passing game the way they should, and then he got hurt instantly. And I was like, well, there goes that, you know?
Yeah, he's a good receiver. He was like a really good receiver.
The Rams are getting Jalen Watson, so they just got 2 Chiefs corners in a matter of days.
Damn. He couldn't have been too cheap either. He's got to be at least $10 million, right?
Yeah, I mean, you would think with some of the other corner deals that have gotten done. Who are the corners for the Rams? They got to be feeling real shitty. I know they had
Forbes.
Yeah, I can't believe that they were like a good team that was starting Emmanuel Forbes.
He actually started to play good though, didn't he, or no?
I guess, you know, which is crazy because he was so bad with Washington.
He was like 160.
But he was also young and kind of like the Commanders drafting that high was always insane. Let's see. Kobe Durant, who I would assume still plays for them. Quentin Lake was their nickel. Roger McCreary, who's a free agent. And then their safety room is fun. You know, Cam Kinchins. And then I guess Kobe Durant is like their other safety / corner.
Once the pass rush got like even a little shutdown for them, though, it was just open season on the pass in the secondary, right? That's when they lost.
Yeah,
when that happened.
Someone said can pencil in the Chiefs for a corner at 9, which would make sense. Dude,
a lot of good ones.
Jermad McCoy. I haven't went and done a full write-up, but he was in our way too early draft preview, and he didn't play this year, so my thoughts, I'm sure, will be extremely similar. I thought he was amazing, legitimately amazing. Where when it's all said and done, without the injury, I think he's a top 5 player in this class.
Easy, yeah, he's crazy.
So it's like, man, I would almost be willing to take that. I hate when guys like that have injuries because I want to talk about them and love them, but it's just you have to say "but" every single time, and then.
The fact he didn't work out though is like he should be ready to go and he should be testing and stuff. So like the medicals kind of scare me a little bit with him. Like I don't know why he wasn't ready for this process. He tore his ACL
it was like in spring ball last year. So like you said, he should be ready for it. Maybe he's waiting just for pro day to do it on his own. But
just off tape, man, he's the best corner in the draft. I think he's unreal.
So good. So good. F it another 50 for Goonie. So Wookie 62.72. So
what the fuck?
We started a trend.
Oh my god, I'm quitting my job.
This is like they're gonna have winners and losers of free agency day 1. Goonies gonna be #1 winner. You need an agent, bro. You need an agent.
No,
we
I
didn't
stayed
have
home
time.
anyways. I run my own little business anyways, and I took the day off. I got McDonald's. I took the day off. I'm just like plugged into free agency.
Before I did this full time.
I got 2 kids. Please keep it coming.
Yeah, now we're he's he doesn't have a home, guys.
Wet my beak a little bit here.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to make a new, because I did all these tweets this morning of like the Giants Nation show signing with Sussex County Miners and Body Armor and SeatGeek and Charlotte Motor Speedway, to kind of have some fun announcing some of these original sponsors for year 2. So I'm gonna have to make a new one. It's like the Giants Nation show chat has signed a 1-day $99.98 contract with Big Blue Goon.
How does it work? Yeah, you get 80-20 split, right? You get 80 and I get 20. Isn't that how the Renan split is?
That split is not public.
I'm just fucking around.
It's not that though.
I'm fucking around.
It's probably more on the opposite side of that. What'd you say? Hold on one second. Jalen Phillips with the re-sign with the Eagles.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
the Panthers.
Panthers.
Whoa.
4 years, $120 million. I feel like the Panthers sign and draft 8 defensive linemen every year.
I love Scourton last year. I mean,
yeah, I feel like every year they've signed 8 they sign and draft 8 defensive linemen. That's a lot for Jalen Phillips with his injury
that's
stuff.
what I'm thinking. I feel
he's got to be a little older too. I mean, that's $30 million per year. How old is Jalen Phillips? Because because remember he sat out a year and then came back to Miami, and then that draft was 5 years ago now.
I'm turning my cam off.
He's only 26. Never mind. I thought he might be a guy who's pushing 30.
He had like crazy injuries in college too, right? Like,
yeah, he retired. Life. He quit football and he came back.
So first, as a Giants fan, very happy he's off of the Eagles. I'm a Ricky fan too, and this hurts when Ricky gets these wrongs. It hurts because like I have him saved. Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a bad couple of days. I'm going to remove you and then when your camera's back, I'll bring you back on. Yeah, this has been a bad day for Ricky, who's been really good. All these, and by the way, all these reporters who, let me put this in the ticker. All these reporters who secretly hate him are sitting there so happy and texting each other in their group chats, like, saying this is why you got to be, people pay attention to these fake insiders, and even though they know that he knows shit. I bet you, and I'll ask, I bet you people are probably figuring out who he is and starting to feed him bad information to smoke him out.
Yep.
Ricky.
I mean, it's been a bad couple of days for him. And I forget who it was tweeted out that like the NFL is actively trying to find out who he is. And you know how these insiders are losers. They're weird. Mm-hmm. They're the weirdest people alive. Yeah. You know that they hate him and will do anything to figure out who he is. So,
but also like shit goes sideways in contract negotiations sometimes. Like that just happens. Like I don't think like misses in the insider world or whatever. I've never been a person that I don't like the insider shit. I don't really care that much about it, but like misses happen. Things go sideways at the last second. It does happen.
Big news. One thing that we talked about is no longer available. The Colts are sending Michael Pittman to the Steelers.
Ooh.
The chat had our whole entire receiving core solved, and the Giants couldn't figure it out.
What did they send? Pick?
I don't know yet. That's the only thing we've got. Michael Pittman and trade to Steelers. I bet you the Giants were in on that. Trying to get in on that a little bit. So now they have Pittman, DK Metcalf. I wonder what they're going to do at quarterback.
I think it's just bring Rodgers back, right?
I feel like that's a terrible idea.
Me too, but I don't.
I'm not a Rodgers hater like everybody else. But
what are the options?
Willis Murray.
I know I hated being on the opposite side of these people, but I'm almost like just take a swing on somebody, even if you don't believe in them. It's easy for me to say that for someone else's team. For my team, it's I want to really believe in an actual quarterback, but I'm almost at the point now. Like last year, if they took Jackson Dart, they'd be in a lot better situation. Or Jackson Dart would have looked terrible with what they were doing. But We'll see. Hope we get some good players today that really make a difference. Get your kid a Giants hat with the donations, man. It's love from UK. So, from Alexander Russell. So, Big Lagoon is going to be like, threatening to like, don't end the stream at the end.
Yeah, shit, dude. We got to do this more often, please. Like I said, I got fucking 2 sons that are dependent on me, buddy. Please.
Do we have a Tunsil thing? Did someone said Tunsil?
Resign 2 years, 60.
Oh, that's
Washington.
Dude, you know what makes me so mad was people last year acting like the Texans weren't flaming idiots for trading away Laramie Tunsil. Like, well, their offensive line wasn't that good with him. I'm like, yeah, okay. So why with that information would you trade one of the best left tackles in the NFL? He didn't have a great season. Okay, he's still a great left tackle who's not old. Like, why would
I have no idea.
God's green earth would you do that?
What they're doing on their line? They just traded Howard too. Like every time they get a good player up front, they move him.
Crazy.
No, they're stupid. Like they're a badly run team. Like they've ran into a good defense, but they are a badly run football team. Nick Caserio's not a good GM. Sometimes good GMs just stumble their way into some success, and I think that's what's happened with the Texans.
It says late round pick swap for the Pittman trade.
A late round pick
That's
swap?
it?
Yeah.
So it's just a salary dump.
Yeah, dumping money so they could pay Pierce and then Jones.
I thought he'd fetch more than just a salary dump pick swap.
Couldn't do that. I guess the other option, maybe they like the other guys more and we just have to pay money for those guys. We don't have to.
Where'd you see that? Is the chat saying that?
Breer said it.
I don't have no
said it
for him.
I know. I'm just scrolling here because you guys are handling it. Late round pick swap per source takes his his contract off the books, which is 1 year left, right?
Yeah, it's literally 1 year left. It's like a $25 million cap hit.
And like every other fan base is bitching that they didn't get Pittman too, so I'm sure everyone was in on him.
Oh, we got a little bit of a beat fight. Source fight. Let me share screen.
Source off.
So this is not anything that's hearing Quincy Williams belongs in this group for Giants too. Talking about linebackers.
Oh,
and then Connor Hughes waves. And then Art clapped back. Art had a good clap back. He said,
"Do not get Art."
He said, "Oh hi, my first mention of Quincy Williams was February 20th." So
yeah, you don't fuck with Art Stapleton.
We got a beat off.
A beat off. I like that. I
gotta be something better. You got it.
Clem, you got to come. I know BBG. I know you were talking about it. You got to come to West Virginia. That's the perfect thing, and I'm not joking. And in fact, a family friend passed away, and so I was scrolling through some home videos, trying to find some videos of him for the celebration of life. And I found a video of my dad and his friends flipping over a car. Like we're going to buy some piece of shit car off the side of the road, no title, nothing. Take it out in the woods, romp it with Dan Duggan and Jordan Renan and Ryan Dunleavy, all them. Possibly set it on fire, like spray paint it. Like that's right up your alley.
That would be so fun.
I'm in. If Stapleton, Duggan, Renan, they're all in, I'm in. I thought West Virginia was couch burning. Is it car burn? I mean, it's probably everything.
We could get couches too. In fact, I just got a new couch, so I need to get rid of my other couch. I will store that thing in my garage and throw it in the back of my truck on my drive to West Virginia if we're allowed to burn it.
Bobby, I almost bought I was looking into it. The South of the Border shirt. I saw you're selling them, and it's from last year. I was going to buy a shirt for a stream I wasn't even on, just because I love the South of the Border stuff. So
dude, how do you not? So we're going to do a 10-year anniversary. In fact, I'm going there because we're going to a race that's in the area. We're going there for a couple of days in a couple of weeks. But yeah, the live show aspect. I got to get. How far are you from Binghamton?
It's a hike. It's like 6 5.
That's the thing. Upstate New York is like, oh, I live in upstate, and then it's like, how far are you from this place in upstate? And it's like, yeah, 6 hours.
They don't know how big it is. Yeah,
it's crazy.
People from the city say I'm from upstate. I could take the train to like work. Like it's a regular. I'm still on like the regular train to New York City. It's not far. It's an hour without traffic, but everything is upstate. Yonkers is upstate to them. So
here we go.
Malik Willis,
quarterback.
What'd he get?
Malik Willis got 3 for 67 from the Dolphins. $45 million fully guaranteed.
There was people saying he was going to get like $30 million a year, though. That feels like more
So
right
that's
to me than
22 mil, 22 and a half per year.
God damn.
Which I understand it, but it is kind of crazy giving a guy that type of money for. I think he has 30 passes and over the last 4 years or 3 years or whatever it is.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, I was somebody who thought like, hey, I think he's very talented, and I thought he was the best quarterback from that class. So I guess I feel a little bit of vindication that he's better than Kenny Pickett. But he has barely played actual quarterback. Even like last year, 2024, those 2 games he played, they ran the ball 90% of the time in those games. It was a very much a Tim Tebow Broncos offense. So, I mean, hey, try it out, I guess. They're probably going to have to draft somebody to go with that.
And their cap has Tua on it now for the next 2 years, right? So it's like you kind of got to make it work. You're paying a lot to the quarterback room no matter what.
Yeah. Jeff Hafley, Packers connection. Who's the offensive coordinator there? Packers offensive coordinator.
Wait, Packers or Dolphins?
The Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Their whole staff is new, I think.
Yeah, but I feel like they got like a known name for.
Oh, Slowick.
Bobby Slowick. Okay,
PFF
so
Bobby.
I guess that could fit. That's a decent fit. You got a lot of play action. Isaiah Likely. Is that Giants?
I don't know if the Jets fucking with us, Bobby. You have it in my head now.
I don't think they're fucking with us. The Giants are signing Isaiah Likely
All right.
for 3 years, $40 million. All right. You guys talk to each other real quick while I get this stuff posted.
3 years, 40, you say?
3 years, $40 million.
That's not bad. What do you think?
No, I'll take it. I know you like Dotton a lot, but I feel like, again, same kind of like I'll take a guy who can actually catch some passes and I don't know, man. I was saying to Bobby before you hopped on, I think the Ravens were ready to, invest in him, and then he got hurt, and then the way things broke, they gave a lot of that money to Andrews. And if the Ravens like you at one point, I like you because they're smarter than pretty much anyone we've had here for a long time, right?
Yeah, he's a talented kid. I look at it like the way I talk myself into it is like I still think tight end and running back are the value like money ball positions in the league. And if you look at him more as like a receiving threat and just a weapon instead of I need a guy in line to block, like we could put him in the slot. He could probably play X on in some plays. Like I kind of like it as just a receiving weapon.
Yeah, I was telling Bobby, I watched a lot of the Ravens the last few years because I had Lamar, and there's times where Likely's like lined up outside, and he looks the part. He's a freak.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I'm happy with it.
He could do like a power slot type thing and put him in the slot, or like I said, play X way out wide. I mean, if you look at it like that,
I think it is like the power slot flanked out tight end like type of situation. They're going to run a lot of 2 tight end stuff to play action off of it. Like you're very much, I think, going to see.
Move tight end, move them all over the place.
Yeah, which as much as I remember even this from Coastal Carolina, I was like, hey, not a good blocker, but a good like out in space open field blocker, which was, I remember, that out of him. So
I never thought it never looked like an effort thing with him too, which is huge. Like a lot of blocking is just flat out effort and a willingness to do so. And I feel like he was always a willing blocker, and edges would throw him on the ground, but he was at least trying.
All right. Let's do a segment on these live streams as Bobby tweets. Isaiah Likely to the Giants! Exclamation mark. Actually, let me just do one like that because that always gets people excited. All right. Isaiah. Sometimes the simple ones are the bangers. You know that.
This is a look behind the curtain you don't usually get. This is
Isaiah Likely to the Giants. Really think this is to be a flex tight end next to Theo Johnson. And
you really found out every word like that?
Obviously, I type with like this.
I was going to say, how many fingers are we using right now, Bobby?
Obviously, an increased role from his time with the Ravens. Won't be your inline tight end, but a proof of concept with John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh.
Woo, good job, bud.
All right, cool.
Very good.
Very, 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 very good.
Nice.
All right, now so let's see. Let's look it up. And again, so I said we'd kind of do this until the first signing, and then go a little bit after that because I do have to watch the film, bro, and put together a film breakdown. And people love receiving type of skill player breakdowns. Like the O-line ones, those are where people respect me the most. The clickiest are the skill position. So let's look it up live. So this is where his stats are kind of underwhelming. So he's young, 6'4", 200. He's 6'4", 245 pounds, 25 years old. He'll be 30. He'll be 26 in a month. What's his birthday, guys? April 18th. So middle of draft month. 2025, he had 27 catches for 307 yards and a touchdown. So, that is a good amount of money for, his best season was 2024, 470 yards, 6 touchdowns. But I like we said in the beginning, Clem, we're all cool with letting Wan'Dale walk. What's not cool is being like, here's Malik Neighbors off an ACL and Darius Slayton off a career worst year, Jackson Dart. Like I've always wanted to prioritize offensive line over skill position when it comes to Dart. And you have proof that is probably the smarter way to do it by going off of last season. But go and get him. And those numbers were as a tight end too, like a clear tight end two behind Mark Andrews. Not just because of not just a tight end two, and they're like, oh, this is the type of the role he is. So he'll obviously get more production with the Giants because he's a much better receiver than Theo Johnson.
And I like also not having to force Johnson into that role if he can. Like, it sounds crazy, but if he could just get the catching, which is a crazy thing to say about a guy who is paid to catch the ball so much, he's a monster, man. He's an absolute monster. And Dart loves looking to him too. And you can see the problems he causes when he actually is able to catch the ball. But I like going into the season not having to rely on his hands. If we had Manhurts, and then who's the other tight end we brought in?
Bellinger might be brought back.
Bellinger might come back. Yeah.
I'm really indifferent on that because I hope they get a fullback. And then that's that kind of takes away Bellinger's role.
I mean, Goon, you kind of alluded to it, but Bobby, I think you mentioned it yesterday with Jordan. When you are paying the tight end, this is kind of the way you can moneyball it. He's a weapon, and you're paying him 15 instead of 27 for an Alec Pierce. That's how you kind of can make a team and offense out of a team that has limited resources or the free agents just aren't there.
Yeah, exactly. So look at and this is a good. You brought up. BBG, you brought up the Slayton contract. Look at what Slayton's getting paid, and then think, okay, now you're getting a receiving option to come play the tight end, move him around a little bit, and do a little more.
Yeah, I like it. I'm for the money and everything, and like you said, we needed another receiving weapon. You look at the receiver market. There's not. I mean, like you said, Clem. I mean, it would have been at least 20 for some of these for Dobbs or some of these other receivers.
They just don't hit free agency, Yeah.
So. 37 looks like a good spot for one, I feel like. I mean, also could go interior line, but the way the receiver board looks, I think there might be a good one at 37.
Yeah, and that's the thing with 37 is once you start talking positions, you're like, damn, we need a lot, and you don't want to lock yourself into something.
Yeah, I wish we had more picks.
Jeffrey Epstein to the Eagles, 5 years, $6 million.
Sounds about right.
Yep, fair deal. All right, let's see. We got any more notifications since then?
It's the most upstanding Eagle on the roster.
Yeah.
And they brought in a culture guy, a good attitude guy.
John Ridgway to the Saints for 2 years, $6.2 million. John Simpson returns to the Ravens for 3 years, $30 million. All right, let me update the ticker. So we're at 12:59. We'll go about another 15 minutes. So we would have gave you guys a good hour and a half of and like I said, you guys are always free to leave whenever you want.
It's crazy to me that I know ESPN or places that think they have journalistic standards can't do this. This is how free agency should be this day and age. Is just at least the fan podcasts and sites doing stuff like this.
Dude, TV is so terrible. It's so terrible how bad TV. I'd say the trade deadline, NFL Network could have. I guess they don't care because they're owned by ESPN now. But the trade deadline, ESPN was in their lockout with YouTube TV, and they were just like playing replays of like Fantasy Football Live with fucking Adam Rank or some shit. Like, what are you guys doing? You guys should be live every second of the day. But I know some people that work there and even got laid off there, and they're like, yeah, they just didn't care about that anymore. All they cared about was setting themselves up for sale, which meant getting rid of as many salaries as possible, less live broadcast. Like that's the reason why they got worse on purpose, just so they could save. They could be more attainable for ESPN to buy them.
But the funny thing is, you're here live, and guess what? We're putting two kids through college right now based on these YouTube donations.
Yeah. Oh, we got 2,300 people. I forgot I should retweet. So we'll go another 15 minutes. So, all right. So now we're looking at. Let me retweet the video. Starting offense right now, you have Jackson Dart at quarterback. So we got Neighbors, Slayton, and then I kind of would look at Theo and Likely as starters, right? Like I feel like without a big, even if you do upgrade a wide receiver, that just might move Slayton to the bench. Like you're kind of looking at that. Now you want to bring in someone who can play a little traditional slot for you, but it's not going to be the same big role that it has been with the Giants over the past 4 years with Brian Dable. Like that's kind of your starting weapons. We'll see what happens at running back. But right now it looks like Scatterboo and Tracy. I think their desire to get Kenneth Walker makes you think that they'll do something. But that's it. I'm okay rolling with that. Obviously, we all want upgrades. That's the issue with the Giants, but they suck. So you can't upgrade everything. So I'm just hoping that now that Isaiah Likely is signed, and make sure to like and subscribe. Offensive line. Spend the next 2 days getting the trenches figured out. Offensive line, defensive line. Like we always knew they were going to get one weapon at least. Now let's take care of the offensive line. Sign Jermaine Illuminor, and then bring in the right guys on the offensive line and defensive line. Do what has to be done.
Yep. I want a handful of those mercenary vet types every year. You know what I mean? If they're not long-term solutions, but for this year, they're going to make our trenches better, GVR and these guys on the interior on both sides, Calais Campbell, these 1 year mercenary vet types that just raise the floor of everything. And then we can look at the young guys and get an honest assessment of them. Yeah,
absolutely. And like you said, Dalvin Tomlinson, right? He just gets released. I know it's just a familiar name. We always like to pull on familiar names, but it's that's the type of guy. 32 years old. He's not getting his big paydays anymore. Mm-hmm. Bring him in to help the run game, be your third defensive tackle, but also address the second defensive tackle. Don't let Darius Alexander stop you from doing anything. So don't get Teller. He was benched. Yeah, again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know all the details of that, but I know guards can have a down year. The Browns were a total freaking mess. Sometimes a fresh start is okay. Oh, that's a good point. Could likely fill the Trey Burton role for Nagy. That was a big thing with Matt Nagy. He's like, we got to get Trey Burton to fill this specific role. I don't think it's that exact role, but yeah, he does have someone to do those types of things that he likes to do. So I'm excited for the first Gator option touchdown that Tim Tebow, Urban Meyer, and Aaron Hernandez. Everyone would always give Andy Reid, look at this play he created where it's the little shovel to the tight end on the option. And that was a 100% Urban Meyer, Tim Tebow, and Aaron Hernandez play. In fact, we ran it in high school. And we called it Gator option because they created it. And then somehow Andy Reid got credit for that, which was Jackson Dart's first touchdown pass with a left-hander to Theo Johnson. So we're going to get that to Isaiah Likely at some point.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I think we're at the point now too. I remember when he first started, I think when he was a rookie, there was a lot of puns with the word likely. Please, guys, it's over. I don't want to see that anymore, right? You guys remember that? It's likely this guy's going to score a touchdown. I was like, oh my God.
I think half of them were from me. That's my
that was your thing?
Yeah.
I apologize.
So, we for an intro song for tomorrow's podcast, I might Dumb and Dumber, I like it a lot.
I actually went to Coastal too, so I'm
oh really?
Really?
I'm worried that he's got a pill addiction or a coke addiction we don't know about, because you don't go to that school and fucking get out without a 12-step program on your. It's not quite. We called it Harvard on Horry County.
Yeah. Coastal. That's the place where the coach was We need dogs.
We
We don't want
dogs.
cats.
Yeah.
That's Coastal Carolina, right?
Yeah, it's a fun school, very fun school, but I'm worried about him.
Paul Schwartz tweets out, this means Daniel Bellinger will not return to the Giants. He will continue. Again, if you're signing a fullback, it makes no sense to have Theo Johnson, Isaiah Likely, and Chris Manhurts. Daniel Bellinger would have to have Stockholm syndrome to sign for the Giants unless they actually offer him money, and the Giants to offer him money for that.
Yeah, we talked about it. I think he's a guy that just like people have a lot of nostalgia and around, and they kind of overrate, but like okay at everything, not great at anything, and I'm fine letting him go.
Yeah, it's he'll be remembered. He'll be remembered, I guess.
Yeah.
How
can we not talk about family when family's all that we got?
Yeah. I mean, the guy who I don't know what's going to happen with is Cordell Flott. And so, like I said, we're going to go for about 10 more minutes, and then I'm going to start work on the film breakdown. So
I'm worried about Flott.
Don't get mad at me. I'm going on, I'm trying to get work done.
You want Flott back?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I know there's like scheme, but I'm just like a huge Flott. Like I just talked about nostalgia and overrating, and that's how I am with Flott. I like just have like a bunch of sentimental attachment to him.
It's like when a guy like that from LSU and he was young and he starts putting it together. It's like you don't want to see him become that guy on another team, right?
He was like he was just like a bit between like me and a couple people on Twitter. We'd like joke about him being a shutdown corner, and then like quietly he became like one of the best cover corners in football. He was fucking awesome last year, and I'm like, it was like a meme fucking joke about how Cordell Flott Island and all this stuff, and I'm like, no, he's like a really good cover corner now.
And you kind of started waiting, like, all right, when is Cordell Flott going to not be good? And then after the Broncos game, it's like, all right, this dude's actually just good. He's made real improvements.
And he's small and he's undersized, but he sticks his head in the fan every single time. He's not like scared or
his run game issues aren't Deontay Banks, where Deontay Banks is soft and stupid.
Yeah,
he's just light. Like if Cordell Flott had Deontay Banks's physical abilities, he'd be one of the best run stoppers in the NFL.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's aggressive and he'll put his face right in the fan, but like he's gonna get run over a couple times, and you got to live with that.
Mitch Trubisky to the Titans. Brian Dable gets his backup QB 4 years later, right?
My phone's about to die, so if I'm
roll. We're only going for another 10 minutes or so.
All right, Venmo is fine. Whatever, PayPal. I'll take a paper check.
Yeah, just give me your your social security
my social number,
your bank account. Just kind of comment it in the comments.
All right, guys.
All right, see you, dude. Appreciate you
later, bro.
Do you want me to hop off so you can wrap up solo, or you want me to just
No. We'll finish. So I want to finish off the last moves. DeMario Davis to the Jets. Good move for them.
Okay.
Was the person lying about Mitchell Trubisky to the? Oh no,
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
So that was one of those first. The Mitchell Trubisky played 1 year with the Bills. He threw 4 passes, one of being a terrible interception, and it's like, oh man, he's grown so much this year behind Josh Allen. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, we can't pay this guy like $12 million. Like, he sucks. He's terrible. And I was so happy when the Steelers ended up paying him, and then you saw him go and suck and be terrible, and that just being hot. He was the ultimate, just like, hey, we'll have 1 year as a backup and don't play, and it'll give you a contract.
Oh, Will Levis can now be on the market. Does that interest you at all, Bobby?
Hey, QB3, I'd fucking love it. I would. He's my number one option for QB3.
So Jackson Dart, Jameis Winston, and Will Levis enter a bar. That bar is having a night right there.
Let's see. We're missing anything else? The Titans. Trubisky. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited about Isaiah Likely. Austin Hooper went back to the Falcons. He was with the Falcons before, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I feel just good that we have there's a lot of interior linemen. I do think we're going to get them at least, offensive line at least. I think we'll get one sooner or later, but there's only a few offensive weapons that I would have been comfortable with probably at a dollar amount, and Likely was one of those at the price he got. I was like, I'm fine with that. So I can kind of relax going into the next, couple days. Maybe day 2 is when we start making our moves. But we're so impatient. It's been 1 hour.
Yeah, we knew that with Wan'Dale leaving, the Giants couldn't just run it back completely with their receiving options for Jackson Dart. But I didn't want to go crazy or do anything reckless as well. And so this is kind of what I'm happy with. it was like, all right, cool. You got someone middle of the road, plays tight end, allows you to do the 2 tight end stuff. So you don't need to run 3 wide receivers all the time. So people are saying that the CBS tracker has Elijah Vera-Tucker, which is messed up. Which your boy, I remember Olivier Vernon being on the Giants, and I was like, wait a second, I'm pretty sure that ESPN said he was on the Jags. What the fuck happened? And then I found out like 3 years later. I was like, oh, that was one of you guys.
Uncle Chaps. Yeah, they got Chaps. He got, that was like the earlier Twitter days. And if you got Chaps, that's what it was. He became a verb. And that was awesome. And like you said, those insiders, they're such assholes. It felt so good to watch them like wipe the egg off their face on live TV.
Yeah. That shit. Because I remember just because that's all I did was I watched ESPN. And then, just like, wait, he's on the Giants now? What the fuck happened? I was almost sure he was on the Jaguars. Did someone tweet at me Jordan Stout, who I did report last night that the Giants want to make him the highest paid punter in the NFL.
I'm basically, what I'm doing right now is I look at the chat, I try to verify live on Twitter, and the chat is saying it. It's true. Gainwell to the Bucks. 2 years, 14 mil.
Are they lying to us?
No. It's true. Schultz reported it.
Schultz got it?
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't see the Schultz tweets.
This is that Ari Myroff guy. Like, I'm doing like the per game right now, but it's there. It's legit.
Okay. All right.
So Gainwell's off the board, which was someone that was a little different than our room right now, which I think we like the idea of. But I don't know. Like, there's more than one way to get a running back. And like I said, ETN, Algier does fit the mold of the guys we have a lot. Obviously, Walker's gone, and we weren't going to pay that much anyway. I'm just trying to think of who else could be out there in terms of running back, because that's kind of another weapon spot. Cam Scadaboo coming off the injury, just like Neighbors. It's like, I just want to feel more confident. Maybe Singletary starts the season higher on the depth chart than you'd like, and then you're hoping he just gets down to 3 by the end of the season. I mean,
Gainwell to the Bucks, by the way.
Yeah.
Jordan Schultz I don't have this. Did Ari Murrah fuck that up?
You don't see it? Schultz report?
Maybe it was a fake Schultz. Maybe you got fake.
People are going really deep. He has 441K.
I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's my Twitter. Is my Twitter fucking broken? Yeah, I mean, Kenny Gainwell went to the Bucks 2 for 14. Let me just search Jordan Stout. Where are they people seeing this? I'm just going to look up latest. Oh, Peter Schrager. Peter Schrager's got it.
He was on, I guess he's on the McAfee show, according to this.
Oh, that's what it is.
So give me the Jordan. Please tell me you've done some film review on Jordan Stout, because I'm telling you, Bobby, my top 5 favorite player of those old Giants was Jeff Eagles. I'm so happy that we care about the punting game again. I am so happy about this.
Me too. So it's 3-year, 12.3.
I know a guy who said he was going to set the record.
Yeah, that was me.
I trust Schrager. I mean, obviously, when he says it live on TV, but once the guys are signing, it's live bullets. But Schrager's a guy that, he has my trust with stuff like that, even if it wasn't, during this actual tampering period.
Yeah. He's a one-time Pro Bowler, one-time All-Pro, which was both this year.
So are we doing I'm guessing he is power, but accurate. He kind of has a little both right here, because, I mean, I love the idea of the Scottish Hammer. It was much better in principle than it was in action. I did not enjoy having the Scottish Hammer the last few years.
All right. So last thing before we go. Is this the highest paid punter contract in the NFL? NFL contracts. Let's see.
Where's the cut?
All positions. Punter. So the highest number is 16 mil. So 3 for, what's the number again? 12. That'd be 4.1. That is the highest paid punter contract in the NFL.
Boom.
Bam, baby. Suck it. My sources are always right. So get ready for Elijah Vera-Tucker and Alex Anzalone, people.
Are you the new Ricky now? You're breaking stuff a day early? People are saying.
That's what people are saying.
Now people are saying Anzalone to the Bucks. Is this fake? I can't do this here.
Well,
here it goes.
Very, very. Wait, what happened?
Schefter's opening his tweet. A record deal. Ravens free agent punter Jordan Stout reached agreement today with the Giants on a 3-year, $12.3 million deal that makes him the NFL's highest paid punter and reunites him with former head coach John Harbaugh per ESPN sources.
I guess I'm wrong. Alex Anzalone, like you said, with the Bucks too. So as soon as I just said to get ready for Alex Anzalone, so damn, I was really hoping to go 3 for 3 because people responded to me. They're like, they're only going to sign 3 guys. I was like, yes. They're going to sign 3 players. 1 is a punter. Now, these are my predictions of what is going to happen. Someone told me. So, all right, we're going to end this. Like and subscribe. We will have a full podcast out tomorrow, myself and Grump, breaking it down. We are going to be staying up late into the night. We're not going live to try and maximize clicks tonight. We are going to be waiting for everything to happen, give you film breakdowns on everything. So we'll see when you see it. Clem, thank you. Did me a huge solid. It's probably been way worse without you. So we appreciate you. Go follow at the Clem Report. See you when we see you. Until then, let's go big.